Hello, welcome to Budastro. Today I will teach you the most important part of any horoscope, how to see a horoscope. Like there are different methods or techniques each astrologer uses his own style. But there is a fixed pattern which if you follow you can easily find out what is hidden in the horoscope or what are the things horoscope is telling you. Let's see how to proceed. So please listen very carefully and always follow this step. Reason being is whenever you will see different charts and you follow the same pattern, same strategy, same method, you will automatically find out these are the things where this native is going to have a problem. That's why it is very essential to follow a fixed strategy. And I'm going to tell you how to see it. Let's proceed. See, the first step is Lagna and Lagna Lord. The most important part of any horoscope is the Lagna as well as the Lagna Lord. You can see in this chart this part where AS is written, it is called Lagna or ascendant. The Lagna has this Lagna has sign of Capricorn and here sitting the Ketu. This Lagna is aspected by Rahu as well as Mars. Capricorn sign is ruled by Saturn and that Saturn Lagna Lord sitting in the ninth house. These two things you must see in any horoscope first of all, because the whole life, whichever planet aspect the Lagna, whichever planet sits in the Lagna, or where the Lagna Lord goes, these houses, these planets will throughout affect your life, your whole life, throughout effect. You will have full effect the planet which is sitting in the Lagna as well as the planet which are aspecting the Lagna and the planets which are sitting with the Lagna Lord. These are the most important planet. These planets must own some houses. We will talk later. But first you see what is the things sitting in the Lagna as well as the what are the placement of Lagna and Lagna Lord. Now comes a three-step process. Always use this three-step process. First see placement of any first see the placement of any planet in any horoscope. First see placement of different planets which own different houses. Then see conjunction of the planets, like here so many conjunctions, so many planets are having conjunction. Mars Rahu having conjunction in the 7th house. These conjunctions are very much important. And third is aspect, which planets aspecting which houses as well as which planets aspecting the other houses and planets also. Now here if you can see second lord is also Saturn sitting in the ninth house. Third lord is Jupiter sitting in the ninth house. Fourth lord is Mars sitting in the seventh house. Fifth lord Venus sitting in the 10th house. Sixth lord Mercury sitting in the ninth house. Seventh lord is Moon sitting in the fifth house. Eighth lord is Sun sitting in the ninth house. Ninth lord is Mercury sitting in the ninth house. 10th lord is Venus sitting in the 10th house. 11th lord Mars sitting in the 7th house. And 12th lord Jupiter sitting in the ninth house. If you don't know how to see the planets, how to see the placement, if you don't know the basics, you can watch my video where I have demonstrated how to see basic things in a horoscope, where you can learn what are the different houses, what are the different planets. Like here the Lagna is the Capricorn and Capricorn sign is ruled by Saturn. Now, I already told you, after seeing the Lagna and Lagna Lord, see the other houses as well as the planets. Like I already told you, different planets which own different houses placed where, like third Lord Jupiter as well as 12th Lord Jupiter sitting in the ninth house, like this. And see the overall placement first. Second step is comes about their strength. Strength is evaluated. It is a very complex process to evaluate a strength, but generally what we see as a strength is placement of the planet, which sign the planet is placed. Here Ketu is placed in the Capricorn sign. Now wherever Ketu and Rahu sits, they become lord of that house. Also they own the qualities which planet aspect them. Like here Ketu is aspected by the Mars as well as Rahu. So second step is your checking the strength of the planet. How to check strength? First see which are the planets which are debilitated. If you don't know the sign of debilitation, exaltation, own sign, you can watch my first video, basics video. Which planets are debilitated? Then see which planets are exalted, which planet sits in the own house, which planets are sitting in the bad houses. What are the bad houses? 6th, 8th and 12th. These three houses are called trick houses or bad houses. Which planets are sitting in the good houses? What are the good houses? Lagna, second house, 11th house, all the Kendra's house and trines. These are the good houses. Then you see which planets are aspecting which houses, as well as malefics are conjuncted with which planets. Here natural malefics Rahu and Mars sitting in the 7th house. Lagna Lord is Saturn, so Saturn will not be considered as malefic because Lagna Lord is not considered malefic. But in every horoscope, the Lord of the 6th house, 8th house, and 12th house considered as malefic also, and these lords are called functional malefic. We will talk about that later. And then you see which planets have exchange sign. Exchanging signs means one planet is sitting in the another planet house and another planet sign is sitting in the that one planet house. They have exchanged. Then you see the total strength, how a planet is sitting in the horoscope. Always use now. Always remember this step, which is the placement in a sign, is one step of strength. There is a complex uh, calculation to evaluate whole strength, but generally we see the positional strength. And sitting in a sign gives a planet the positional strength. Then you can see which planet have directional strength. Like in the Lagna, Jupiter as well as Mercury gets directional strength. Venus gets directional strength in the fourth house. Saturn gets directional strength in the seventh house. Mars and Sun gets directional strength in the 10th house. There are other things also like Maran Karak Sthana and exact and other things, but we are not going into that much details. So let's proceed in the next. Third step is yogas. Now yogas is very important because until and unless you don't understand what are the yogas formed in a chart, you cannot predict the outcome of a conjunction or of a single planet. How to see yogas? Generally, there are two yogas which are mainly considered. First, money yogas, and second, Raj yogas. Second house is wealth. 11th house is also income. Also, uh, gain is any kind of gain is expressed by the 11th house, as well as trine lords or trine houses are also involved in the money yogas. because these are the Lakshmi sthanas. Trines are Lakshmi sthanas. Lagna is Kendra as well as trine. So always consider Lagna. And Kendras are Vishnu sthanas. So Raj Yoga form when Triner Lord sits in the Kendra house or make a connection with the Kendra Lord. Similarly, if a Kendra Lord sits in the Trine house, it creates a Raj Yoga. So these two yogas are generally seen. Whether person will be able to earn money or have a good money, have a good life or medium life, or if there is any Raj Yogas, then which will be the dasas which will give result. So these are very important. Now you already know that shrines are called Lakshmi sthanas and kendras are called Vishnu sthanas. So any connection between shrine lord and kendra lord will give you Raj Yoga. Consider Lagna is kendra and kona also. Now bad yogas means, now there are bad yogas also which I already told you, that conjunction of the malefics or with the 6th, 8th, 12th lord will give you bad yogas or bad combinations. So always keep this mind. Now here if you see, Mars Rahu conjunction is the 7th house and Mars is the 11th lord. So it is a very good yoga. It is aspecting the Lagna and Lagna has the exaltation sign of Mars also. As well as this Mars is aspecting second house. Why? Because Mars has the 7th aspect, 8th aspect and 4th aspect. The same Mars is aspecting 10th house also. So this Mars is giving very good yogas in the chart. But always remember that it is sitting with the Rahu also. And it is debilitated. Why? Mars gets debilitated in the Cancer sign. Now see fifth house. Fifth house has moon, which is the sign of exaltation. Taurus is the sign of exaltation for the moon. Moon is the seventh lord. So moon is Kendra lord sitting in the Trikona. So this is a very good placement. See the Venus. Venus is Kendra lord. It is the 10th lord as well as it is the trine lord. So Venus trine lord sitting in the Kendra as well as in his own sign. So this is the very good placement of this Venus in this chart. And the same Venus which is Karaka of money aspected by the 11th lord Mars. Now see the Lagna Lord. Lagna Lord sitting in the ninth house with the ninth Lord Mercury. Virgo sign is owned by Mercury and Mercury sitting in the ninth house. This is one combination which is very good. Now let's see Jupiter. Jupiter is the 12th Lord as well as 3rd Lord. So it is not giving any yoga, but it will create disruption. Sun is the 8th Lord, but Sun generally don't get blemish of the 8th house, but still it is 8th Lord and it is sitting in the ninth house. So this is how you can evaluate that these are the kendras, these are the konas, and how the planets are conjuncted. Because until and unless you don't understand the conjunction, you cannot drive the result of that conjunction. Like here, four planets are sitting. How to drive the result? First, you see which planets owns which houses. Saturn is the Lagna lord as well as Saturn is the second lord of money sitting in the ninth house. Ninth house is the highest trine and it is sitting with the ninth lord. Mercury and Saturn both are also friend. Always trine lord are always friend of Lagna lord. So this combination is very good. Now this combination is disrupted by this Jupiter. This Jupiter is the 12th lord as well as the 3rd lord, and the Sun is the 8th lord. Sun Saturn are not friendly, but Jupiter Saturn are friendly. So whenever their dasha will run, you have to see the strength of which planet is more, which planet is less. Always, if always consider this point that sixth lord 8th lord and 10th lord. Oh, sorry, 6th lord, 8th lord, and 12th lord. These bad houses lord should be very weak. What? But this is not the case. Why? Because Mercury here, ninth lord also. So Mercury should be strong. So Mercury, if strong, it will give you good service, good health also. Why? Sixth house is health, and it is sitting in the ninth house. I always, I already told you, always remember the placement of the planet. If this Mercury ninth lord would have sitting here, then things have been different. But it is sitting in the ninth house, and also it is the exaltation sign as well as Mool Trikon sign of Mercury. So this is the very good placement. That's how you can evaluate the conjunction of a planet. Here you have to see the strength of Jupiter and Sun, whether they will be how much or how much intensity they will disrupt the yoga. Let's see next step. Now this is the fourth step, which is the most important part of a horoscope. This is the step of spirituality. If you understand that this native is going to spiritual in his life, or this native is going to have materialistic in his life, his mindset must be read, and this mindset can be read using the spirituality yogas, which are the houses of spirituality: lagna, fifth house, and ninth house. Trine houses are always spiritual houses, as well as 12th house is also spiritual house. Which are the planet which give spirituality? Lagna lord Jupiter, ninth lord, fifth lord, 12th lord Ketu, these things, as well as sun, because these are the sattvic planets and they generally work for the spirituality process. Here this Jupiter, although it is the 12th lord and third lord, but this Jupiter will give the spirituality to this person very much. Why? Because it is sitting in the natural ninth house, as well as it is aspecting the Ketu, which is already sitting in the Lagna. So you can see, and Lagna Lord also conjuncted with the Jupiter. So this combination was bad because of some different aspect, but this combination is very good from the point of spirituality. That's how you will see. If a person, suppose this person is running Saturn Jupiter Antardasha Mahadasha, then you will see that this person is growing spirituality, but it is having the problem in the third house matter. It is having the more expenditures also, and in the fifth house matter. Why? Because Jupiter is aspecting fifth house also. So you must be very sure which combination will give which kind of result in which dasha. Similarly, if you see this Rahu Mars combination happening in the seventh house, this is proper malefic. Mars is also debilitated, and Mars is the 11th lord as well as the fourth lord. 11th lord is always malefic. Three Shaddai lord are always malefic. What Parashari gives. So you can see if this person runs this combination in the dasha antardasha, he will have troubles. Now, how to decide the spirituality? You see the combination of 12th lord or 12th house, fifth house, and ninth house, as well as the lagna lord. Here you can see 12th lord Jupiter, as well as the natural ninth lord sitting with the lagna lord in the ninth house. This is a very good spiritual yoga. Second spiritual yoga is lagna lord already sitting with the ninth lord. This is a very good combination. Now, fifth lord of fifth lord of spirituality mantra is Venus, but it is not forming any connection with the fifth lord, with the fifth house or ninth house, ninth lord. This Jupiter, which is the 12th lord, making connection to the fifth house by the ninth aspect from the ninth house. So it is aspecting this moon also. Moon is the mind. So person may be inclined or person may have tendency of spirituality. That's how you can see that how much this person has materialistic nature or spiritual nature. And this is very important when you will find that in certain cases when a client is uh, having a problematic dasa, but that dasa is making him growing spirituality. So that's how you can tackle him, that you just do these and these works related to spirituality work, and you will have a very good time. Now the fifth step comes, which is the evaluation of a result, which some I have already given you some hint. But this evaluation of the result is the very most complex and difficult part of any horoscope. Why? Let me show you. See, first of all, you see which planet on which houses, like Saturn, Lagna Lord as well as second Lord. These two houses are owned by the Saturn. Similarly, third house and 12th house are owned by Jupiter. Now, first you evaluate this ownership, which is called ownership. Then you see planets are sitting where? Saturn, Jupiter, Sun, and Mercury, both four planets are sitting in the ninth house. So, planet when placed, this is called the placement, and they will give the effect of that house also. Now, apart from these two houses, Saturn will also give result of the ninth house. Similarly, apart from third house and 12th house, Jupiter will give result of the ninth house. Similarly, Sun, apart from the eighth house, give the result in the ninth house or of the ninth house. And this Mercury, sixth lord and ninth lord sitting in the ninth house, will give result of these two houses. Now, third things which I already told you: conjunction, placement, conjunction, and aspect. Here you see the conjunction: Saturn Jupiter conjunction, Saturn Sun conjunction, Jupiter Sun conjunction, Sun Mercury conjunction, Saturn Mercury conjunction. So this will produce a multitude of effect. Multitude. Here now Saturn will be able to give result of sixth house, eighth house, ninth house, 12th house, third house, second house, first house. Now you can decide how it is difficult to give the result of a conjunction by any astrologer. And let me tell you, it is very, very difficult. No astrologer can tell you the whole result of a single planet if it's running its Antardasha. That these are the things which are going to be happen. Trust me, it's this much complex. Now see you the aspect. Which planets are aspecting this? This Mars Rahu combination aspecting this Venus. So Venus will give result of the Mars and Rahu also, as well as the houses result of Mars. Why? Mars owns the 11th house as well as the 4th house. So this Venus is aspected by the Mars. So it will give effect of these two houses also. Now you can see, after ownership, placement, conjunction, and aspect, you cannot decide the total effect of a single planet. Single planet, I repeat. And then comes the nakshatra lord, which I am not going to tell you now, but you can see these four steps to evaluate any result. Suppose we want to evaluate the result of Venus. So first see, Venus is the lord of fifth house sitting in the Kendra. It is a very good placement. Then Venus is the also 10th lord. It is in the Mool Trikona sign. Now this result will be very good for these two houses. Now this Venus is aspected by the Mars Rahu combination. So whenever Antardasha Mahadasha run of Mars Venus, Rahu Mars, this Venus will give effect of these two planets, significations of Rahu, significations of Mars, as well as fourth house effect, 11th house effect also. And apart from this, one thing is also considered, which is known as dispositor. Dispositor is the lord of any houses where a planet is sitting. Suppose 7th house has the Rahu and Mars. We want to know the dispositor of 7th house or dispositor of the Rahu and Mars. So this house is owned by Moon. Moon is sitting in the fifth house. So this Rahu and Mars dispositor is the Moon, and this dispositor carry the effect of these two planets also. That's why if this client comes to ask you or comes about children problem, you can clearly see that this native is having children problem. Why? Although the moon is sitting in the fifth house and it is in the exaltation sign, it is also aspected by the Jupiter. But this Jupiter is functional malefic. It is the third lord and 12th lord. It is already sitting with the Saturn. Saturn will be the natural malefic for the Jupiter or for the Karakatva of the Jupiter. It is sitting with the Sun. Sun is the eighth lord. It is sitting with the Mercury. Mercury is the enemy of Jupiter. Also, the sign is also not favorable to the Jupiter. As well as this moon is carrying the effect of Mars and Rahu. So moon become the dispositor of these two malefic planets also. Let's see the fifth house from Jupiter. Why? Jupiter is the karak of children. So the fifth house is also called children. So also see fifth house from Jupiter. If you see the fifth house from Jupiter, this is the Lagna where the Ketu is already sitting. And this house is also aspected by the Mars Rahu. Now you can clearly see that if this client comes to you about the problem of the children, you can clearly have this in your mind that yes, children problem is there. So this is how you can evaluate a result, but always proceed in a very specific manner, the manner I told you. And when you comes to evaluate the result of a planet, always use these steps. Which houses this planet owns, where it is placed in the chart, its placement, where what are the planets which it has conjunction, then aspect which planets are aspecting it, and finally the nakshatra lord. But if you don't consider the nakshatra lord also, you will be able to drive the result. Now suppose this person is running Jupiter Mercury dashantar dasha, then this person is going to have problem with the children or problem with the uh, conceiving of child. Why? Because Mercury is the sixth lord, Jupiter is the 12th lord, and they are conjunct in the ninth house. If this is the chart of a female, then ninth house is also called children for the female horoscope, or in the male horoscope also, but especially in the female horoscope. Now you can see if this now the same planet which is sitting in the ninth house giving him the good spirituality yoga, at the same time it is giving problem in the conceiving of children. Now you can assess how these planets give result differently at the different time. Suppose Saturn Jupiter is running. Jupiter is karak of money, sitting in the ninth house. Saturn is the lagna lord as well as the second lord. So person will have so much money, but at the end he will either is gonna lose it or he will not pay attention to that. Why? Because the Jupiter is the 12th lord. So apart from giving money, he will give the spirituality also to the native. So native will not become materialistic, or he may divert to the spiritual path. That's how you can see. Now this is the example. This is the chart of Elizabeth, Queen Elizabeth. Here Lagna is the Capricorn sign. Lagna has the Jupiter and Mars. These two planets are going to affect her whole life. Lagna is also aspected by the moon, which is sitting in the own house. Jupiter, although is debilitated, but it is with the friend, and Mars is exalted, or we can say in the exaltation sign. Lagna Lord Saturn sitting in the 11th house and aspecting the Lagna. This is a good combination. Although, apart from this, Mars and Saturn having exchange, and exchange is having between the Lagna and 11th house. Rahu Ketu axis is exalted. Rahu is in the Gemini, debilitated. Exalted. Rahu in the Gemini and Ketu in the Sagittarius sign. Venus, which is the Kendra Lord, 10th Lord, and Trine Lord. So it owns Kendra and Trine. So it alone will give Yog Karaka effect or Raj Yoga effect, and it is sitting in the second house. Now Mercury, which is the sixth lord and ninth lord, sitting in the third house, debilitated, but it is aspecting the ninth house. This is how you proceed. Lagna has Jupiter Mars combination aspected by Moon. This, and these are the yogas. And how much yoga she is having? First, exalted Mars. Second, Yog Karak Venus in the second house. Third, Mars, Saturn, Lagna Lord, and 11th Lord exchange. Fourth house has exalted Sun. Rahu is good in the sixth house, as well as Ketu is good in the 12th house. Seventh Lord in own sign and aspecting Lagna. You can see how many good yogas she is having. Let's see her story. She was not her heir apparent, but because of her uncle actually did fell in love with a lady. So because of that, Queen's father became king, and she was alone, so she became heir. See the 11th Lord Mars sitting in the Lagna. So something related to 11th house will happen. Now Saturn is also having the exchange. You can see that Saturn is the Lagna Lord. Also the Jupiter sitting in the Lagna aspecting the ninth house. Jupiter is the third lord of sibling. Mars is 11th lord of siblings. 11th house is also third from the father's house, ninth house. So, father's sibling. You can see this combination alone, exchange and sitting with the Jupiter, which is the third lord, how giving the effect. She was not heir apparent, but because her uncle fell in love, her father became king and then she became heir. Jupiter is the dispositor of Mercury. Jupiter is debilitated. Jupiter is Karak of elder siblings, as well as 11th Lord Mars sitting in the Lagna. So it is indicating like native himself is becoming elder. Jupiter is also third lord of uh, younger siblings, and Mercury is debilitated there. So she was alone. She has no brothers. Now, this combination, this combination alone giving effect by not giving her brother, but as well as giving her the materialistic life. Venus is sitting in the second house. It is the Yog Karaka, giving money, fame. Seventh, uh, natural tenth house Lord sitting in the second house of money, as well as seventh house Lord Moon aspecting this combination. Mars is Karak of authority. Sun is also authority, royal planet, government, high authority, exalted. It is sitting in. It is aspecting the 10th house of karma or uh, administration, as well as Mars is also exalted. See, the Mars is the dispositor of Sun, and it is also exalted. Now you can see that she became heir apparent. Same planet which are giving her whole life comfort, denying the siblings also. See the effect and decide what is happening in the chart. This is the example 2. This is Mrs. Indira Gandhi. This is the exercise for you. You tell me what are the yogas this horoscope is having, and which planets have exchange, or which planets is creating Raj yogas. So this is the exercise. Comment so that I can understand how you understood, or what are the things that you left out. So if you like the content, please like and subscribe. It is very essential because it motivates. Feedback always motivates. It doesn't matter whether you like the video or subscribe, but always give feedback, because feedback is important for improvement. If you don't give feedback, improvement cannot be assessed, or improvement cannot be done further. What are the things which you did not understood? That's why. So thank you so much.